Hubo un momento, no hace tanto tiempo, en el que El Salvador no era sinónimo de esperanza, ni de transformación, ni mucho menos de liderazgo mundial. Para el resto del planeta, El Salvador era simplemente una referencia negativa: violencia, pandillas, inseguridad, migración y miedo. Para muchos líderes internacionales, ni siquiera existía en el mapa. Y fue precisamente en ese contexto, en el año 2019, cuando ocurrió algo que muy pocos recuerdan, pero que hoy cobra un significado enorme. Un momento que, con el paso del tiempo, se convertiría en una especie de antes y después en la historia política salvadoreña.
Hola amigos y seguidores de Alfa Producciones, pónganse cómodos porque hoy te traemos un material que de seguro te atrapará. Ya somos 1 millón de suscriptores en este canal y es gracias a ustedes. Somos el canal que desde el día 1 venimos informando todo lo que ocurre en El Salvador, y con la llegada de Nayib Bukele a la presidencia, déjanos tu me gusta para seguir creando contenidos, suscríbete para seguir creciendo y no te olvides de activar la campanita de notificaciones para recibir un nuevo video. Ahora sí, continuamos.
Ese día, Nayib Bukele, recién iniciado su primer mandato presidencial, subió a un escenario donde nadie lo estaba esperando. El lugar, el Foro de Doha, en Qatar. Un evento internacional de alto nivel, donde se reúnen jefes de Estado, líderes de potencias mundiales, empresarios influyentes, diplomáticos y figuras clave de la política global. Ahí estaban presidentes de países poderosos, representantes de economías gigantes, voces acostumbradas a ser escuchadas. Y entre ellos, un joven presidente de apenas 38 años, proveniente de uno de los países más pequeños y estigmatizados del continente americano. Al principio, casi nadie le prestó atención. Para muchos, Nayib Bukele era solo otro mandatario más de Centroamérica. Un país pequeño. Un país pobre. Un país peligroso. Eso era todo lo que sabían de El Salvador. Algunos ni siquiera sabían ubicarlo con exactitud en el mapa. Pero entonces, Bukele tomó el micrófono. Y todo cambió. Sin notas visibles, sin discursos leídos, sin traductores. Comenzó a hablar en un inglés fluido, claro y seguro, algo que ya de por sí rompía los estereotipos que muchos tenían en la sala. Pero no fue solo el idioma lo que sorprendió. Fue el mensaje. Bukele no habló desde la victimización, ni desde el resentimiento, ni desde el complejo de inferioridad que tantos líderes de países pequeños suelen mostrar en escenarios internacionales. Habló con convicción, con claridad y sobre todo, con una visión que incomodó a más de uno.
Enter the very last session of the Doha Forum, which entails a bit of a generational shift. We just ended the previous session talking about one of the oldest institutions in the world, an institution that's turning 75. Well, our next guest is very far away from his 75th birthday. In fact, he is one of the world's youngest and newest heads of state. He took office just over 6 months ago when he won the presidential elections in June of this year in El Salvador. He is a political leader who understands and appreciates and knows the power of technology and social media. In fact, many of you will remember when he made his first speech at the United Nations General Assembly, he took out his cell phone and, yes, he marked the occasion with a selfie. So I do hope he'll have time for a selfie with me a little later. It is a pleasure to welcome to the stage President Nayib Bukele of El Salvador.
Thank you, everybody. Your Excellency, Abdullah bin Nasser bin Khalifa Al Thani, Prime Minister of Qatar. Your Excellencies, Prime Ministers, members of cabinets of all the countries participating in this forum, my wife Gabriela, and my daughter Laila, who's just turned 4 months today. Members of my cabinet and staff that came with me to Doha, members of the press and all the new media, a special guest, ladies and gentlemen, friends, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to give the closing remarks in this World Forum, where we have analyzed the urgent necessity to reimagine governance and multilateralism in an ever-changing world. But I wanted to raise the question that has been mentioned here numerous times with many interesting analysis, possible answers, and even conclusions. But all of our main questions regarding inequality, poverty, globalization, trade, governance, interconnectivity, youth, the fourth industrial revolution, jobs, wealth, the rule of law, climate change, even peace, have been analyzed without really looking deep into the unique moment of all that human civilization is living today. And this huge opportunity that we have right now, the uniqueness of this moment, is actually very short and very simple to explain. But don't expect an answer, because I and my team were only able to formulate the question. And this is the question. For the first time in human history, our civilization has achieved 3 benchmarks that were impossible to imagine a couple of decades ago. These 3 benchmarks allows us, for the first time in history, to fix all of the main problems of the world. Now, the first benchmark. Remember in the 90s, where globalization was the main topic and all of the forums, panels, everywhere? Well, I was in school and probably watching cartoons and playing video games. But the reality is that at the time, we discussed globalization, if globalization was good or bad. If it was good for rich countries or for poor countries. We discussed if it was good for corporations or good for the people. The supporters of globalization tried always to convince us that it would be good for everyone. But aside if you like it or not, globalization came to stay. Soon, we felt the pros and cons of globalization. It made the world a lot richer. International commerce and trade boomed and created lots of new opportunities. But at the same time, it also bankrupted hundreds of thousands of local companies. It destroyed entire economies. Hundreds of millions of farmers and their families emigrated to the cities in search for a living. Millions fell into poverty as local industries bankrupted and as major corporations moved their factories where labor was cheaper. But like I said before, you may like it, you may hate it, but 25 years later, the world is fully globalized now. And that's our first benchmark, a globalized world. Now the second benchmark. Remember back in the 90s again, where the internet really started to take traction? I mean, we all know that it was invented decades ago, but it really took traction in the 90s. As every important company had a web page and teenagers were downloading illegal music from Napster and messaging through ICQ or AOL instant messages. Thousands of new dot-com millionaires and even billionaires started to appear, as the market was overvaluing web traffic and paying hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars for a web page. Then the bubble bursted and the economy tanked as the stock market took the gigantic hit from the dot-com bubble. But despite the economies of it, the internet was still growing very fast, in fact exponentially. It is now an integral part of our lives. We live now in an interconnected world. We spend more time in our phones than any other thing. I'm not taking a selfie, don't worry. Yet. In fact, they are not phones anymore. You have your life recorded here. You have all of your friends texting you while I'm saying this speech. You have all of your social networks here. Your apps, your health, your mail, your music, videos. You get your news from this thing. Some people watch the movies on it, play, even create content for the whole world to see. And every year, it penetrates more and more. More apps are developed, the cameras are better, more people connect. So even though we're 2 or 3 years from total connectivity, we can say we're there. So that's our second benchmark, an interconnected world. Now the third benchmark. For the first time in all of human history, we produce more than what we are able to consume, and definitely more than what we need to consume. We have more than enough food to feed everyone. We have more than enough medicine to treat everyone. We have more than enough wealth and materials so everyone can have a decent home. A nice school for all children. A good hospital for anyone with a disease. All necessary roads can be built. All necessary transportation systems can be built. We have enough wealth to stop climate change, to even undo some of the damage we have done to our planet. We have enough wealth and resources to stop all armed conflicts, to provide a decent living for everyone. But instead of that, millions of tons of fresh food are dumped every day, while millions of humans are dying of hunger or malnutrition. Millions of tons of medicine are destroyed because their due dates are past, while millions of people don't have access to health care or even vaccination. Inequalities on the rise and unnecessary conflicts are created. But with all the bad things happening, one thing is certain: production and worldwide wealth is at all-time high. And that's our third benchmark. World production is now enough for everyone. Humanity never dreamed of having these three ingredients, but now we have them. So we are now able to end poverty, to end hunger, to care for everyone's health, to provide a great education for everyone, to stop climate change, to stop all wars. We just need the political will of the leaders of the world. This couldn't have been done before. This couldn't have been said before, because the world wasn't globalized. So if you needed a product from India and you were in Mexico, well, that was a tough one. Before the world was interconnected, just to give you an example, a health record from a person in Brazil could take days and a lot of resources to reach a doctor treating that same person in Germany. A software developer in El Salvador, in my country, could not collaborate with a developer in Japan, and both of them be able to create something new, putting pieces together from both sides of the world. Now they can. Before we produced enough of everything, we couldn't feed some without leaving others with no food. Nations and societies had to compete only to survive. But we have none of those problems anymore. We are now fully globalized, fully interconnected, and we produce more than what we need to consume. So there, no more excuses, no more benchmarks to be met, no more time to wait. So we are obliged, it is our responsibility to create the world every generation since the dawn of civilization has dreamed of. We have the three ingredients humanity never had before. Let's find the formula for this new era. So, what are we waiting for? Thank you very much.
Habló de sistemas diseñados para perpetuar la corrupción, la desigualdad y el abandono de los pueblos. Y lo hizo mirando de frente a quienes representaban precisamente ese viejo orden mundial. Mientras algunos líderes bajaban la mirada, otros levantaban las cejas, sorprendidos. No estaban acostumbrados a que un presidente tan joven, de un país tan pequeño, hablara con tanta seguridad y franqueza. Bukele no pidió permiso. No pidió aprobación. No buscó aplausos fáciles. Habló de cómo El Salvador había decidido romper con el pasado, de cómo su gobierno estaba dispuesto a tomar decisiones difíciles para cambiar el rumbo de una nación condenada durante años al fracaso. Y quizás lo más impactante fue el contraste. Porque mientras muchos en esa sala representaban países con enormes recursos, con siglos de poder e influencia, era ese joven presidente salvadoreño quien estaba lanzando uno de los mensajes más directos y honestos del foro. En ese momento, El Salvador dejó de ser el país más peligroso del mundo para convertirse, al menos por unos minutos, en un país que tenía algo importante que decir. Muchos quedaron en silencio. Otros comenzaron a tomar notas. Y algunos, probablemente, entendieron que estaban presenciando el nacimiento de un liderazgo distinto. Con el paso de los años, ese discurso en Doha cobra aún más sentido. Porque aquel presidente que en 2019 casi nadie conocía, hoy es uno de los líderes más comentados, criticados y admirados del mundo. Aquel país que era referencia mundial de violencia, hoy es citado como ejemplo de transformación en materia de seguridad. Y aquel joven que sorprendió a líderes globales con su inglés fluido y su mensaje firme. Demostró que no se necesita ser una potencia mundial para hacerse escuchar. Solo se necesita visión, valentía y decisión. Ese día, Nayib Bukele no solo dio un discurso. Ese día, El Salvador le habló al mundo. Y el mundo, por primera vez en mucho tiempo, tuvo que escuchar.
Gracias a todos por mirar el video hasta el final, espero que te haya gustado y así puedas volver en un próximo video. Cada día estamos informando todo lo que ocurre en El Salvador, así que ya saben, esto ha sido todo por hoy, nos vemos en una próxima.